Hello there. I'm back from work again, and yeah, actually, um, I'm making this video to tell you about an incident that took place today. That's actually the kind of thing that we as attorneys encounter a lot. We get a lot of resistance from public officials such as the clerk of the court, the registrar of the court, and the master of the high court, people with whom we interact on a regular basis. And uh, this particular incident involves me and the assistant master of or one of the two assistant masters of the High Court here in Mbombela, Mrs. Martha Sotole. Now, the incident in itself, if I describe now what happened, it sounds very simple. Well, I showed up, I had to go and see Mrs. Sotole to follow up on a letter that I've sent by email. And then later on the 29th of July, I've actually also handed in a hard copy of that letter. Now, we've lodged documents. You don't go and give it directly to the official involved. There is an official that receives documents and makes sure that these documents go to the appropriate estate controller, or in this case, the assistant master and such. What the letter was about is that I am currently working with an estate in which two executors were appointed. Now, the one executor, my client, she's actually the person who is in charge of the liquidation and distribution account being drafted, the estate being advertised and such. She's incurred huge costs, and we have actually done a lot of work, but we haven't gotten to the point of administrating this estate and getting liquidation distribution account being drawn up, because this particular second executor just sits and objects to everything. To make matters worse, in the estate there is two businesses. One of these businesses is a tavern that's generating income, and it's very important for this estate to generate income because there are a number of surviving children, at least 6 of them, each of them expecting a child share. And it's not realistically possible to just divide all the assets and liquidate everything and pay everyone out of the proceeds, because that would actually leave my client and some of the children homeless, while some of these children already have homes and jobs of their own. Now, one of the largest troubles that we've had is that it's necessary, for instance, for the liquor license to be renewed, that both executors sign affidavits. The second executor just refuses. Now, we've reached the point where this second executor actually offered to resign as executor on the condition that she retains the vehicle that is currently in her possession. And we've agreed to same and even redrafted a redistribution agreement. And in spite of us having done our part, the second executor is still on board as executor and still refuses to sign the necessary documents. So we're still not moving forward. Now, in the letter that I've written, I've actually asked the master's assistance, particularly through the assistant master. Now, after not having received any reply to the letter, I deemed it necessary to go and visit the master's office to follow up on this. Now, we've had a long prevailing problem at the master's office that even though we have to see the assistant master or estate controllers by appointment, the master's office does not usually reply to emails, and they also do not answer telephone calls. So I've decided that there's no other way out than to go and visit the master's office. Now, Mrs. Satole and I are not strangers to each other. I know I've been known to be a troublemaker, and yeah, that mainly stems from the fact that I'm in nobody's pocket, and I've also never received any preferential treatment from any public official. In fact, I've received quite the opposite. But if something's not done, then I take the necessary steps. I even take matters to court if necessary. So what happened today was I went to the master's office. Mrs. Satole's door was open, but she was having a long conversation with some unknown individual that I have no idea who she is. But the conversation went on long, and then one of the estate controllers came in. They shared some laughs, laughed together, completely ignored me, even though I was in plain sight. And then I guess probably because the sight of me sitting there waiting to be assisted while they finished their private conversations, well, the sight of me sitting there probably got unbearable for them. So the estate controller got up and closed the door. And that's where I decided, well, that's it. So I've reported the issue in writing to the master. And I've also CC'd Mrs. Satole in this email. And then the response that we got was that I had to be cleared by security. Now, like I said, Mrs. Satole and I have not been strangers to each other. She knows very well I'm an officer of the court, not just a random member of the public. I've never been a threat to security. There is absolutely no reason why any of us attorneys have to be cleared by security. But this is a rule they made up, along with the refusal to answer telephone calls and being unavailable and all other manners of resistance that we often meet when interacting with the master. This is just one of those ways, and we get mistreated into, I don't know, into feeling too intimidated to take matters up with him. Now, the response that I got with regard to the letter as well is actually based on outdated information. Because yes, we did notify Mrs. Satole that this second executor did say that she's willing to resign as executor, and Mrs. Satole is waiting for this second executor to give her to hand in her resignation in writing, which is not going to happen. We've already waited for that long enough. What we actually want now is the master's intervention to have her removed, because, to put it in plain, understandable terms, she's simply not useful or helpful in any manner where the administration of the estate is concerned. She already got what she wanted, and now we just basically expect of her to stand aside. But something as simple as this can become very complicated where the master is involved, because, well, I don't know what they would rather be doing than assisting us in doing the jobs that they're actually being paid for. But I've learned long ago that requesting the master's assistance with anything is usually a nearly impossible task, as the master's office often gives you the feeling that you are expecting a huge favor of them, and this is now simply for asking them to do their jobs. Now, with regard to the way we get treated whenever we visit the master's office, even in that email that I've received as a response, it seems like, well, okay, well, I don't know how other lawyers are being treated, because as a matter of fact, I'm just far too busy with my own work to sit and notice how other attorneys are being treated. But I'm getting the impression that Mrs. Satole and the rest of the staff at the master's office think that I come and visit their offices just for the fun of it. Now, I want to tell anybody watching this video that I certainly do not drive all the way from my office up to that High Court building to visit them just for the fun of it. Usually my being there in that office usually involves a matter that is really important to the people involved and actually has a direct bearing on the lives of those clients who entrusted their estates or their matters to me. And I'm sorry if I'm seen as an annoyance or anything like that, but let's just bear in mind that I've basically gone grey and bald from bending over backwards to help people as far as I can, while dealing with public officials who you have to beg to just do the jobs for which they were appointed in the first place. Now, I made this video to make this public and to make it known to everybody who's ever wondered what on earth is going on at the Master's office. You have a family member that passes away, you entrust that matter to an attorney. Sometimes you do not even entrust it to an attorney. Sometimes you entrust it to your bank or to your accountant, and these people go and visit the Master's office and you don't know what's going on. You don't know what happens. Some of you might go and visit the Master's office by yourself, and then you might experience more or less the same thing as what I've been experiencing. But I'm not going to stand for it. Yes, I know, we as attorneys, we've been beaten into submission through years of abuse, by which we've basically accepted all the whims and nuances of these public officials, because doing so is just simply less effort than taking the matter to court. Well, at the moment, these people have overplayed their hand, because matters have actually deteriorated to such a point where it's actually less effort and less trouble to apply for a court order, in terms of which either the court does their job for them or by which the court orders them to do their jobs. So I know it is an uphill battle with the Master of the High Court. I know some of us, I don't know who exactly you are. I know some get preferential treatment, maybe because of favors being exchanged, maybe because of bribery. We'll never know. But nonetheless, if you do visit the Master's office and you feel like you're getting nowhere, well, this is where you have to then make the decision to see a lawyer. Well, good luck to everyone. In the meantime, I still have this matter to deal with, and I am resolute with full intent to see this matter through to the end.